The Antichrist will make his first appearance at Pope Francis's funeral. A U.S. pastor who predicted the Trump Butler event claims, according to Daily Mail, a self-proclaimed prophet who predicted the attempt on Donald Trump's life in Butler, Pennsylvania, spoke about his last premonition. Brandon Dale Biggs, a pastor from Oklahoma, says that in 2014, God revealed to him a vision of the next pope standing next to the Antichrist, which, in his view, is a sign of the beginning of the end of times. Let's remember the prophecy of St. Malachi saying that after Pope Francis, Peter the Roman will be the last pope, and then the end, he says. So Brandon Dale Biggs says he got this revelation from God in 2014 that the Antichrist, which in his view is a sign of the beginning of the end times, will be at the Pope Francis funeral. Biggs said that with the death of Pope Francis, who died at the age of 88 on Easter Monday, his vision took on new meaning. Biggs says that in his dream, with the revelation, he clearly saw the man who would become the next pope, describing him as slender, Caucasian, and dressed in traditional papal garb. Now, what are you seeing now? Let me tell you what you're seeing now. These are called the Capirote hoods. It's a Christian pointed hat of conical form that is used in Italy, Spain, and Hispanic countries by members of the Confraternity of Penitents, the Brotherhood of Penitents, particularly those of the Catholic Church. It's part of the uniform of such brotherhoods, including the Nazarenos and Phariseos during Lenten observance, that is before Easter, and reenactments during Holy Week in Spain and its former colonies. Though similar hoods are common in other Christian countries such as Italy, Capirote are worn by penitents so that the attention is not drawn towards themselves as they repent, but instead to God. And the history, the flagellants are the origin of the current traditions as they flog themselves with a discipline to do penance. Pope Clement VI ordered that flagellants could perform penance only under control of the Church. He decreed inter solicitudinos, inner concerns for suppression. This is considered one of the reasons why flagellants often hid their faces. So the use of these capirote or coroza was prescribed in Spain by the Holy Office of Inquisition. Men and women who were arrested had to wear a paper capirote in public as a sign of public humiliation. The capirote was worn during the session of the auto de fe. The color was different, conforming to the judgment of the office. People who were condemned to be executed wore red. Other punishment used different colors. And one of those who use the black hood is or something dark is the Brotherhood of Saint Rochus with velvet capriotes. When the Inquisition was abolished, the symbol of punishment and penitence was kept in the Catholic Brotherhood, but the capirotes used today are different. They are covered in fine fabric as prescribed by the Brotherhood. To this day, they are still worn during celebration of the Holy Week, Easter, most notably in Andalusia, Spain, by penitents who perform public penance for their sins, who walk through the streets with the capriote. That's according to Wikipedia. But going back to the prophecy of this pastor from Oklahoma, he says, Biggs says that in this dream, he clearly saw the man who would become the next pope, describing him as slender, Caucasian, dressed in traditional papal garb. The pope, dressed in white, stood next to the Antichrist, dressed in black, a biblical figure portrayed as the charismatic deceiver who takes power before Judgment Day. Biggs did not give a clear interpretation of the meaning of his vision, but he did point to a message he said he received from God in early 2025 that he believed was connected to it. The Lord said he was setting the house in order, that the judgment would begin at the house of the Lord first, he said. Biggs claimed that God told him that people in high positions in the church would leave. He said, Did I see the Pope leave? No, I didn't, Biggs admitted. I saw key figures leave. One could be forgiven for thinking Biggs was simply being superstitious, but he has already been proven right. In a video released April 2024, 3 months before the event against Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, Biggs appears to have predicted the shooting. The bullet went past his ear and so close to his head that it tore his eardrum. This is what he had said, referring to Trump. With the death of Pope Francis, the millennial tradition of electing a new pope will begin 15 to 20 days after Pope Francis's death. So that's around 10th of May. If the 12 cardinals considered potential next popes, 8 are Caucasian. That's Pietro Parolin, Peter Erdo, Angelo Scola, Reinhard Marx, Mark Ulge, Robert Prevost, Pier Battista Pizzaballa, and Michael Cerny. So there's 2 Peters in there, Pietro and Peter. Several of them could theoretically fit Biggs' description of the next pope, including Pietro Parolin, Peter Erdo, Robert Prevost, Pier Battista Pizzaballa, and Michael Cerny. Now, Polymarket, a Manhattan-based cryptocurrency prediction market, has placed Parolin as the most likely candidate for election. That's Pietro Parolin. It could be weeks or months before the next pope is elected. The Vatican is currently in mourning, which will last until May 4th. The election process will then begin. The next person to take the papal throne will need to garner at least 90 votes, which could require several rounds of voting. Please leave your comments about this revelation, this prediction, prophecy, call it what you will, by the U.S. pastor from Oklahoma. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.